Welcome, listeners, to another episode of the Full Send Rejects. Today we have a special episode where we are interviewing four family members of three men who went missing on Sharp Mountain. If you have heard our episode on the history of Sharp Mountain, you will know this episode is coming. I just want to prepare everyone. This gets really emotional. You know, there's laughs, there's tears, there's anger, there's a lot of raw emotion. If at all, anytime you feel that you can take a break, pause the episode, take a breath. If you come back later, we appreciate it. If not, well, thank you for listening. This is became a very, emotional episode. And I would like to thank the family members who joined us and are able to talk about their experiences and what they're going through and these poor individuals who are missing. There's information in this episode of being able to contact police if you know information, and if you do know something, please say something. These women they want to know what happened, that's all. Anyway, I will hand it off to our guest this episode. Okay, start the recording just now, so that's ready. So I am here with Bernadette and Donna, who are siblings, Cindy and Rachel, discussing, we're going to share their stories for relatives of theirs that are missing along Sharp Mountain, and see what they have to say for it, ask a few questions, and hopefully spread the word, and hopefully we can find some resolution for them. First, I have Bernadette, if you'd like to share your story here.
Okay, thank you very much for doing this, first of all.
Oh, absolutely.
And my son, James, went missing up on Sharp Mountain. James Herrick. He went missing
March 2012.
We suspect around March 2012. And we haven't seen him since. We have lots of stories about him, what happened to him, but we have no concrete evidence.
So what is it you think that happened to him?
Well, thinking what happened to him and knowing is like that you learn over time and all these years that there was a million stories told to us. And from everything that, he was beat, he was alive, and they had him somewhere. We looked in ditches, we looked in manholes, we looked in wells, caves. We went in caves. There wasn't any place we wouldn't look. We had the police on somebody's property already, thinking he was there, but there's no body. So everything is just a story, unfortunately. It's just a story.
Right.
And until you get a body, but we still listen to every story that comes our way. And so after all these years of, creating this, these scenarios, we listen to everybody, and you kind of take it home and you process that, and you kind of see what you could extract from that you haven't heard. And if it was something you haven't heard, you better believe we'll be there looking.
Yeah.
In a heartbeat.
Right.
You almost have to like be careful, like you don't lay all your cards on the table sometimes.
And so, my question was like if anyone was actually checking like the strip mines, but now I know that was going on.
We checked. We were all over the mountains. We were. We had a cadaver dog on Sharp Mountain, and I was on that search, and we searched for that dog, was up and down that mountain for 6 hours, and he said, I could tell you where James isn't. He's not right here. And that is from, like, the Henry Clay side to...
a little past Bunker Hill, I would say. Hillside.
Yeah, like Bunker Hill that way, all the way up. Yeah.
That's where he was...
all the way out to the Boardnoggle Trail.
Seen last.
And we even went past there and went searched that one. We searched Peach Mountain. We were just searching. And we're a bunch of four-wheeling people in our family. We have a whole bunch of hunters and four-wheelers, and everybody was
We
looking
searched
everywhere.
every
Found
mountain that
everything.
we know he went on.
So in retrospect, we think back and over the course, did we make mistakes? Did we do anything? There's just no right answer. Everybody's story is just it's painful. It's very, very painful. And sometimes you think you got the right lead and you're on it and you're going to find them, and it just keeps coming up. Nothing.
Now, 11 years has obviously a long time for things to go by, but for our viewers, just to, even if it's just looking out or people who look identical, can you give a brief description?
Sure.
James had a set of eyes you would die for.
He had eyelashes.
He had eyelashes. He had killer eyes.
His tattoo.
He had tattoo on his leg.
No. Yeah. FTW.
FTW. Yes.
That's
Pretty big.
He had yes, it was like the whole right shin was FTW.
It's half. Yeah.
Okay. He had a big scar above his eye.
Mhm.
That was very noticeable, and one above his lip.
He usually wears hair in a flicky, or the
Yeah, it was
nuts,
always very
like
short.
shaved.
It's kind of dark.
He was a stocky boy.
5'11".
Yep, with a nice round face. A good-looking kid.
It was my baby.
Yeah, and he was nice. He would talk to anybody.
A good soul.
Yes, a good soul. I mean, he
was
was not,
clown.
class clown.
Yeah.
I can't say, he was
Life was party.
innocent and not, the speculation of the drug world and everything like that. But the concrete thing that my sister knows is that he didn't touch his bank account. And that's where it's pretty,
Months that he's
pretty
gone.
evident.
That's always a red flag.
Yeah.
And there was money in there, too.
And he had significant amount there.
Yeah.
So if he ever owed anybody money or something like that, it was in there. And the money he got awarded unemployment, just so you know, it wasn't like,
Yes.
it wasn't
Right.
crazy money. It was unemployment. He just got awarded. So he had all those back pays.
And he had the letter because I gave him the letter a couple of days before he went missing. The last time I seen him. So he knows he had that money in the bank.
But so there was I'm sorry, go ahead.
She's upset, telling the story. It is a long story, and I know I told her to try to keep it together, but I understand everyone's, heart here today, and it's a struggle, and you never think it's going to happen to you. And here's these other two ladies with us tonight.
And by all means, if I know this is very difficult to talk to, especially the time of year where, if you need to take a second, take a second. That's all fine with us.
Well, I just don't want it to sound like, we're rambling, because there's just so much to tell. And if there's any questions, if there's something that you think, or the other girls think that we're missing, we wrote some notes down, but really you just tell it from your heart, because the story doesn't change.
Right.
And it doesn't go away.
And it doesn't go away.
Mind what you heard about yourself.
And really, you just need a body. Whether alive or not.
Well, one thing I was wondering, and I'm open for everyone here. The question I was thinking was, with how technology has advanced, especially with like drones and stuff like that. Has anyone ever thought to find a drone or two, take them over the mountain, or go into these ravines and these coal mines or anything like that?
They have in Jesse's case. I'm not sure about the others.
We have not.
Cameras.
We catapulted down into the mines.
Right.
We did not. At the time, 11 years ago, drones weren't that big. We had manpower on the mountain. There was a fire station. God love those guys. I always said they were the misfits, but they were the
Middleport.
They were the kindest
Fire
people you
place.
ever meet. They hiked up that steep mountain, fully geared. And I said to the kid, "Why do you have all that on?" He said, "In case we have to rappel down the shaft." And he pulled a sandwich out of his pocket and said, "I have a sandwich in case he's hungry."
Oh, hell yeah, Middleport.
Yeah, that was awesome, wasn't it?
They were Middleport
awesome.
Fire Department.
My mom was in Middleport, so.
Yes.
And they were dying on a
They're
bed.
the
They
only
didn't
ones
stop.
that stuck with us through the search.
He said, in case I see him and he's hungry. Oh,
Yeah,
my God.
that's
There wasn't a
awesome.
dry eye on that one. Just like that.
I believe it.
No, that's awesome of them.
We had such great support, too. And, of course, there's always, ones that it's hard when you hear some bad things. And I know these ladies go through it, too. And you kind of just have to weed them out. And, yeah, they're
Not paying no attention to them.
they
That's what you gotta
divert
learn.
your efforts. Yeah, because
Yeah.
they'll throw you right off track. And you learn that the hard way. And
Yeah.
it's a tough one. And we've had many of them, Mayburn.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
Well, every single one, really, because we still don't have them.
We still get messages to this day. I get personal messages about them.
Bernadette has her theories, and she has her suspects. It's probably narrowed down to about 3 scenarios, but we would never, we couldn't even say it, publicly like that because we don't have a body. We don't know. Everything's just a story.
And God forbid you're wrong. Now that's another person who's
Exactly.
Yes.
that's
What I think is weird is if you tell them about the whole story about James getting dropped off. I always thought that was suspicious. Like when he got dropped off and what he said was just too weird to me. Yeah.
About when he went up on the mountain, supposedly he was up on the mountain, and he said it's a great place to get lost. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, and that was the last time he was seen or something.
They said he walked away. They said he walked away and went down over the mountain.
Somebody heard a yelp after he said that.
Cadaver dog, I believe the cadaver dog,
Yeah.
and the cadaver dog didn't even pick up a scent there.
Not a
They were
scent
all over
at
it.
all. That's where we mainly searched.
See, and that's
is
the
where
problem.
they put him last at.
So here's another
That
little
girl.
right, a wrench in it. Because then we realized maybe that wasn't the last he was seen. That's the last of the police. And I don't want to talk bad about the police or anything like that, but sometimes they're very busy, or sometimes they, it's just not the greatest investigation.
Right.
And if they have suspicion of drugs or anything, that kind of is just like, I don't want to say blow it off. They do what they can, but
it's the problem with small town police forces. And if you get a cop that wants to, bust his ass to help, he's limited with his resources.
Yeah, there's
absolutely correct. Yep, you're absolutely correct. The first one really failed us.
That's
And
unfortunate.
It really failed us.
And that's when it's critical too.
Yes. And now Detective Joe Kramas from the Pottsville Police Department took over the case, and he had called Bernie in, and he was talking to everybody. He said he was going to call me in, which he never did, but he did tell Bernie that he was going to work on his downtime, and I get that. So, right now it's been a long time, so
At least they told me they're still working.
they're still working on it. They were calling people. And if anybody out there has any leads, don't hesitate to call Detective Joe Kramas at the Pottsville Police Station. And I do believe the police station is 622-1234, isn't it? 570? Is it 1234 even? Correct. Okay. Pottsville Police Station, 570-622-1234, and that would be Detective Joe Kramas. And if anybody out there could just find it in their heart if they know. Just don't be afraid you have to be living with guilt or something. Please come forward. I look at my sister right now, and she can't even talk. She can't even talk together. And that's a mom.
It's like it
I'm an
happened
aunt.
yesterday. Like it happened yesterday. It don't go
And
away.
then, yeah. So her other son, Charles, passed away too. So mom is, yeah, so James went missing, and then she lost her other son. And I would really just like for her to have a little piece of her heart, put some closure.
Absolutely.
Right.
I just want him home. I just want his remains. Can I please have his remains? I don't care who did it, whatever.
We even said you could do it anonymously. Just tell us where the body is. Anonymously.
Right.
If I brought him home, I think I'd have a little more closure.
And when you're looking now, see, when we were looking at first looking for a body, you're looking for bones now. It'd be bones. It's so hard. It's like finding the needle in a haystack right now.
Especially in those mountains.
Yeah.
And you hear that over the news that remains were found.
Oh, yeah, that's tough.
And it's hard until I find out when who it is, what it is,
Right.
where it is.
I didn't even think of that. Yeah, that's got to be tough.
Well, we found bones on Peach Mountain one time, and the police came and everything, and they ended up taking it, and they had to take it to the lab and all, and they came back and said it was animal bones, but we still to this day don't believe sometimes. We don't believe that because
We don't believe
it's
it.
like, wait a minute, we did look like, I don't know. I'm not a
Animal
bone.
bones or not, you got to check it.
Yeah.
I don't believe it.
They crawled in sewers looking. They crawled in. They went everywhere.
Caves. They catapulted down caves to look for my son.
Repelled. They repelled down.
Yeah, repel down there.
They were catapulted.
Catapulted. Fucking.
Oh my God! See, can you please edit that?
We'll edit. Don't worry. Don't
Can you
worry.
please edit that? Oh my gosh.
Repelled.
Oh,
Maybe that's what we need. We just need to catapult her, dude.
I'm so sorry. Okay. Yeah, you do get kind of like, so you get kind of hysterical sometimes.
Absolutely.
You have to have, sometimes you have to laugh.
All of these stories I heard about my son, it's pretty much like the last thing I hear when I think about when I go to bed, you know. And all these scenarios run through my head. It's crazy. It's just, like,
Trust
I never thought in a million years that I'd have.
She doesn't even tell anybody
I
that
don't
somebody
tell
contacted
nobody.
her and she goes investigates, they say.
By myself.
She lays
I
her
don't
cards on the
tell
table
nobody.
all the time.
I don't
She even
tell
went
nobody.
to somebody's house and knocked on the door and checked their freezer.
In her cellar.
In their
Because
cellar.
somebody told me that he was in their freezer in the cellar. So I went and knocked on the door and asked if I could check the cellar, if I could see their freezer in the cellar, and he let me do it.
That's
So
terrible.
you went like in depth.
What's that?
So you went like super in depth on it.
Oh my
I-
gosh.
I
We
still
were
do.
in a house, they were gonna jackhammer up a concrete floor because they put the concrete there. You wouldn't believe the places they went. They went on people's property and looked in deep freezers. We heard he was in a wood chipper. Heard he was with a baseball bat. Heard he was in a bathtub for 2 months.
He was fed to the pets.
He was fed to, yeah,
So,
fed to animals.
and if I could, I will check up on
Wrapped
these
up in a
stories.
carpet and put in a dumpster and put in a landfill. There's not even there's not a scenario out there we didn't hear, but we kind of have an idea, maybe, but it's just an idea.
Yeah, for legal reasons and speculation, you can.
Yeah.
That is just insane.
Yeah.
It is. It's crazy. I can't believe my life. I can't believe I go through this.
I know these ladies feel this too, and I feel bad. I know Cindy and her sister Kelly are early, not in the year in, and It's terrible. I was praying they found that boy.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I really thought that Zach's case would have turned out different.
I did too. I was praying. I prayed and prayed.
Yeah.
Zach is the one that
Anybody can ever have to go through what I've been through.
You too, Rachel.
Yeah, it keeps happening in our area, and that's what
Something's not right. This is, and I don't know if you ladies ever thought of this, and I don't want to sound, crazy or anything like that, but any scenario could be possible. Like, at one point in time you're laying in bed and like, what if there is aliens? Or, it's stupid things like that. You just think of every possible, what if he fell into a sinkhole? And I don't know. How about, like, Jessica Smart when they found her after, 10 years? Like, what if he's still alive? This is crazy.
Right.
It's so true.
Hey,
That's kind of something that you hope for, too. I mean, I hope that they're alive and well out there.
Me too.
stories like that happen in this. It's strange, but it happens.
Just listen to a podcast about it. 10 years.
Well, James has a son, Dylan, and
He's 20 now.
he's 20 now. So he was like 9 when James went missing, and I feel he looks just like him too. And I just felt bad for his son. And so when somebody goes missing like that, it's not like you have them declared dead or anything. So the kid just goes with nothing. No father, no.
Yeah, it's hard for them to understand, and they expect like a solid answer, but you can't give that to them, especially when they're really young.
You can't even get like death benefits or anything for these kids, and
Any kind of support
No.
or anything.
he's just wanted his dad home.
Yep.
Yeah.
Understandable.
I'm still close with him, so I'm very.
And he has a sister, Jessica Reinhardt, and Jessica has been on the case since day one too. But Jess she just wants to stay in the background because
She just can't deal with it all.
yeah, it gets to her.
No, I believe it.
Yeah, it gets
it's
to her.
overwhelming.
So I just wanted to mention her because that is, somebody who loves him and wants him home also.
Oh, absolutely. I understand that.
Well, we just lost his grandmother in December, and I just keep thinking she knows where he's at now.
Yes.
Our mom knows where he's at, and I keep asking her,
Mom, let me know where my son is, please.
yeah. I mean, is there any questions, Rachel or Cindy? You think is there anything?
I'm right now trying to think of questions. I'm just taken back a little bit. That's all.
It's
Yeah, my
heartbreaking.
question was answered way long ago.
You know,
The only other thing I thought of was it's hard to talk about. I remember when you were going through it, but that whole scenario with the photo, with the photo that somebody took and then they showed it to Bernie or something like that. I remember when that happened.
And that's how sometimes it can either be cruel or, but you have to investigate. So somebody sent a picture and it was a leg, it was a foot leg with a boot and everything. He said it was him and said he was out of the location. And they went and looked and
We searched.
and they couldn't find it, but that sure keeps coming up too.
Plus, I went right to the police. I gave them the picture. They
Right.
called them in. They said it was a fake picture. The police told me.
There's some cruel people in this world.
if someone faked
that's
that's just
terrible.
cruel. That's
Well, they don't. Yeah, they're not.
But I don't know if it was.
I don't know if it was a fake picture, but so like the leg was still intact. They thought if it was sitting in water, it'd been
It was just
and
bones
bones and
with a Carolina
With a boot.
boot on the foot of the bones, laying in the creek. There was a hose in the water. I seen a bullet in the water.
There was some
bullet shells.
Yeah.
And I have no reason why this kid would want to come and show me this picture. And my family wasn't too happy about it, I'll tell you that.
Go.
Oh, I'm sure some tempers grows up.
Instead of going to like one of my nephews.
So I always say, then why didn't you go to the place before? Or why go find that body? And that we pretty much need a body right now. And so if they say that, and he's here, and then you go.
And this guy also told me he had a human bone, part of an arm. And the police did nothing about that. They didn't want that or nothing either. So, there's a lot to take in and a lot to question.
I don't know if that's true.
Yeah. I don't know if it's true or not.
No, yeah. It's so many.
So, it's just stories I hear.
You guys don't have to call it out, but I will. Shoddy police work.
Yeah.
You would be surprised. There's no police work. All they wanted to do was find out where the drugs were.
Who was selling the drugs? Who was selling this?
That was it. That was it.
That's what they wanted to question the people about.
Yes.
Half the time they don't even do their jobs when it comes to the drug scene either.
No
honestly.
shit.
Yeah,
they're back in like 2 days.
Right.
They don't do nothing.
And rumors are going around trying to pin it on like one person, and like just we know it's not that person. We just know it's not.
Yeah.
And it's kind of people jumping on a rumor, and that will really hurt. A story. Yeah, jump on rumors.
Or what the police gave me. The evidence they have, what they gave me and my right to know.
They didn't give her all the information.
They didn't give me much at all. They didn't give me really nothing.
So they withheld some stuff, some information.
Withheld some stuff. They withheld everything.
Jesus.
They gave me bullshit. That's what I
see. Bernadette's she's pretty blunt and forward, and
I am. I tell you what the way I feel.
Now, was there? We're talking about the local police. Was there like assistance from like the state police or anything like that?
Oh no, Lord forbid! Don't call the state police.
Yeah.
I had a local policeman call the state police because he pulled somebody over and told them, or they tried to give information about my son James, and he called the state police and he told me he got yelled at. They yelled, "Don't tell us about it. We have nothing to do with it."
Oh, Jesus.
So that, you know what I mean? And that was a local policeman that told me.
Local policeman trying to, work on this case a little bit, got out of his way, and the state just says, "Nah, get out of here."
Yeah.
We don't want to work with this.
They were so mean to her at one point in time. It was pathetic.
They told us
the mother of
to stop taking our frustrations out on them.
You're frustrated. You have every right to be frustrated.
But now, Joe promised sat her down, and he's trying to reassure her that. But it's 11 years. Joe's picking up a case. He's
just coming on. He's just becoming a policeman when my son went missing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
Joe was. So, and now we don't have the regular detective. We don't have the chief anymore, which was the main detective in Pottsville. But,
yeah, and I'm wondering, he said he was going to call me, and I'm wondering why he didn't.
And how long ago did he say he was going to call you?
Oh, this was back in March.
This was back in March.
He called me in.
Yeah.
After...
Because, and I know Cindy and Kelly and Rachel dealt with this crazy girl. And she said I had a gun to her and all. She's crazy. And just made up all kinds of stories. And she's naming people.
Well, she was telling you, Cindy and Rachel, that I know what happened, my son, and I just don't want to believe it. So... You know, I mean, this is how crazy this girl is.
We don't believe any of that, so it's just, that's an awful thing to do to to someone and point fingers at a mother who's trying to find her child. I mean, sometimes, unfortunately, people feel important and they want to involve themselves in these types of cases to feel important.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you just, as hard as it can get and as hard as it is, sometimes you just got to let those sorts of things roll off your back and show them that they're not getting to you.
Right.
Yeah.
And
If you don't, they can't perform. If there's no audience, they can't perform.
Right. She was telling stories like that. At first, you would almost believe the girl until you talked to her for a little while. So that's what we were afraid the wrong story was going out there because, she said she named my son. It wasn't even my son. I don't even have a son by that name. And I,
Yeah. So
saying I had a gun pointed at her. It was just ridiculous.
Yeah,
And
I remember that.
why would I point a gun at somebody who's trying to help us?
yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
It's just crazy. And so
That girl has something wrong mentally.
So that's how Joe kind of he was going off of this girl's report too, right? And so that's when he called Bernie and wants to know all about this. And you know who it was as soon as he starts talking. As soon as Joe starts talking.
But it's like, don't tell me what to believe. I heard so many stories, you know what I mean? Like, no, I'm not going to believe the story. I try to piece everything together that I hear. I go back in my notes. We go back. We look for
We're top-notch
different
investigators for
things.
sure.
You know what I mean?
Top-notch investigators.
I got to cross every T and dot every I, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Before I could say something, you know? I've been doing this for almost 12 years now.
That's, I think that itself.
It's a topic of conversation all the time, isn't it?
It is.
All
Yes.
the time. It is, and I don't
bring it
mind.
up
I
every
do not
time.
mind.
I always bring it up. I'll never let my brain go down without him coming home. I want him
How
home.
can you not?
We had a fundraiser. We do have there's a $2,500 reward. I'm telling you, if somebody knew where he was and they wanted more, we'd give more. We had everything from mediums to psychic to everything, just trying everything.
Yeah, leave no stone unturned.
That's right.
Right. You get desperate and you literally will try anything.
Well, ladies, you want to
Thank
say
you.
something?
Yeah, let's give you guys a turn in a while.
Let's give you a second here. I appreciate you sharing all that information. That's honestly, to me, that's brave and incredibly strong of you.
It's a lot. It's a lot of information we have, and if anybody knows anything, please let us know. Detective Joe promised, or myself, my sister, anybody they could contact.
And Rose here just wrote down his contact information, so we can hopefully get that information out quicker than this episode will come out, which I'm aiming for Monday. So
Yeah, we'll tag it in all the socials.
Awesome.
At least get the word out there to spread. That way,
Yes.
if somebody knows something or a hint of something, I don't want to, we don't want to stir up more false leads for you guys, but at least something is something.
Yes.
Lead's a lead. And
We're so excited about this
Well,
podcast.
that's what I said. They could say one thing to me, and it might relate to a story that I've already heard,
Right.
and I can put things together.
Exactly.
at least
So,
pinpoint a time or a location or something.
Yes.
Yes.
And don't be afraid to say anything. We've heard every story. Somebody, I can't say it's too
Yeah,
gruesome
I
or something
can't
like
tell
that.
his mom
You
that.
can
You
tell
me
her anything. And if you don't feel comfortable telling her, I'm her sister, Donna, and you could tell me.
And I got lots of nieces and nephews.
Anybody in the family.
Yeah. You can tell.
So
Thank you, everybody, for listening.
absolutely, thank you for sharing. right now we're going to hand it off to Cindy. Let her share her story.
Hi, my name is Cindy. I'm Zachary Vidal's aunt. My nephew Zachary went missing October 22nd of 2022. Now, Zachary was 27 years old at the time. He was born on June 14th, 1995. He's now 28. Zachary's case is quite puzzling. Zachary is a creature of habit, and what I mean by that is Zachary is very routine on what he does on a daily basis. He's very family oriented. He would always say, okay, I'm going here, I'm going there. My nephew, I do not believe in my heart, set out on his journey back in October of 22nd of 2022 to never return home. This is not, excuse me. This is very hard.
Take your time.
My nephew would not come home. He would let us know where he was at. Something's desperately wrong here. Somebody definitely knows where my nephew is and what happened to him. Zachary is about 5'10", 10.5 inches tall, slim build, dirty blonde, with light brown hair. His head was shaved at the time of his disappearance. Zachary was wearing a tan jacket with a red shirt, baseball hat, and blue jeans and sneakers. He went missing in the Pottsville area. He was last seen.
Sorry, what kind of baseball hat? Bernie wanted to know.
It's a Hurley hat, I believe.
It
Okay.
looks like an H.
Yes. I believe that's what it was.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
In the beginning of his disappearance, I just had such high hopes. Okay, maybe Zach just went with a friend or something for 2 days. He'll be home. I was kind of like lying to myself. We're over a year now, and my nephew has not been seen or heard from since. I would have rather cut my right arm off than have to sign a missing persons report on my own blood. Somebody out there knows where my nephew is, and they are withholding information and making up lies and horrible, horrible things they're saying about what happened to him. He'd have been home. Our Zachary would have been home. I just want to know where he is. I sit here and I think to myself, if something bad happened to him, and did he cry for us? And we weren't there to protect him or help him. These are the things that run through all of our minds. We are their protectors, no matter what age they are or what age we are. We are their family. And there's people out there that say horrible things, and they don't care what they say to hurt us. Somebody always knows in these types of cases, somebody always knows something. And they need to come forward. Whether they call the police and remain anonymous, wonderful, do it. Because I personally don't care at this point who you are. I just want to know where Zachary is. Zachary is a very handsome boy. He's very sweet. He has a wonderful heart. He loves his Philadelphia Eagles. He's an avid animal lover, just like me. He is trust everybody, and that's the scary thing. He didn't see bad in people. He seen all good in people. And I don't know, did he walk up to a car, ask for $1? Did he get in with these people? Did the people he was with that evening, know where he is? That's the route I'm going. I believe in my heart that the individuals that he was last seen with know a little more of where my nephew is. And it's pretty sad. If they do know where he is and they're not letting us know, well, shame on you, because you have destroyed an entire family. We are not the same. We are not the same. We have to wake up every morning with this on our plate. We have to go to bed every night wondering and worrying where our loved one is. It's raining outside. You're crying. Are they out in the cold? It's snowing. You're crying. Are they out in that? It's bitter hot out. You're wondering. You're worrying. Are they out in that? You know, these are the things that people really need to sit down and look at. What this is doing to families. If you have information, you need to step up. You need to be the better person and step up. I don't care if they're your best friend. You need to call. You need to call it in. You need to be that voice for these boys. Somebody has to be the voice because somebody knows where all these kids are at. Somebody knows. And this is hard. Zachary was seen at the 7-Eleven in downtown Pottsville on October 22nd of 2022. That is confirmed by the Pottsville Police Department. They just released camera footage of that. Where my nephew went from that point on, somebody out there knows. Somebody holds the key to all of this. And they're not coming forward. They know where Zach is, and I have my theories too. And I'm going to tell you what, my theory, if I know what was said to my face, and I probably really don't care at this point. I'm just going to say it. I was told to my face that my nephew was laying under a pile of leaves. Okay? Where might that pile of leaves be? I said to that individual. Well, you know, yeah. You get. I'm not going to get into exactly what else was said after that. But I have to live with that every day. I have to live with that every day, rolling in my mind. That my nephew's laying under a pile of leaves. That's sick. That's pretty sick. You know, I can't totally get into Zachary's, investigation. I can't give out any information, but sometimes you feel like just shouting it out. And you can't. You can't. Detective Welsh for the Pottsville Police Department has been wonderful to me every time I speak to him. He is a wonderful man. He has a heart of gold. He listens to me laugh. He listens to me cry. He listens to me. And he's doing everything he can to bring my nephew home. And do I believe that? Absolutely, 110%. I believe this man is putting everything he has into Zachary's case. And again, like Bernadette said, if they are deceased, we don't have a body. We don't have that. We all have our own theories on what happened to our kids, but we don't have the evidence.
Right.
And like I said, Zachary is, even if he went somewhere and he couldn't get home, he would have contacted somebody through telephone, through Facebook Messenger. I believe in my heart he probably would have reached out to his brother Brandon, on social media. I'm stuck here. Can you get me home? No contact in over a year. No. Something's wrong. Something's desperately wrong.
Is this?
And
sorry, go ahead.
It's a shame. It really is. It's a shame.
I agree.
A quick question, just to get more information out there. What kind of vehicle was he seen leaving in from 7-Eleven? Was that caught on the camera, or was that anything?
He was on foot.
I was on foot. Okay, because I pulled up the map here as you were talking. Just to remind myself exactly. I moved out of that area maybe 2 years ago, just trying to familiarize myself. 7-Eleven is right near the end of the city of Pottsville.
It's the hill going up to the hospital.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And it's not far from the exit from, or to leave in Pottsville.
Mm-hmm. He was on foot. I can't give out the direction that he walked, but he did walk. He was allegedly attended a gathering at a home in Pottsville on that date. He's allegedly left sometime in the early morning hours with another individual and hasn't been seen since.
Do we know anything about this other individual, just like physical description or anything like that?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Sorry, this individual that he left with, is there any information on him, physical description or?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, yes. I can't disclose that information.
Yeah, that was my next question. If you prefer, you can't. I don't know what's,
I can tell you it was a male. I'll tell you it was a male. I don't want to compromise the case, or I don't want this individual, trying to get it in their head, okay, well, they're talking about me, and I'm going to, try to sue the family or whatever. Hey,
that's slander.
Right. So, this is what, they're saying. So it's kind of, is it all true? Is it just made up? Well, like I said, I got to watch what I say it's a part of an active investigation. But, do I believe a lot of that's true? Yeah, I do.
Yeah. I'm trying not to disclose anything. I have to ask, are the police actually looking into, your intuition here?
Absolutely, they do. They do. They listen to the families. The families are the ones that know their kids the best. Their loved one the best. We know, and, like Bernadette has said, there's so many rumors out there. You can have 100 rumors come out, but in that 100, one of those could be true. So you got to act on everything. And so far, everything I've taken, or people I've taken to the police, they've checked in on. They do. We might not think that but they do. They have to. That's their job, and they do it. And I believe some of the things that were said are way out there. Yeah. I heard as well, okay, well, he's here, or he was seen here. He was seen walking down the railroad tracks, or he's out here, in Pottsville, walking in downtown Pottsville. No, he's not. My nephew is not walking in downtown Pottsville.
Is it another situation to where his bank account is not seeing any activity like James is?
No, there's nothing like that for Zach. Zachary doesn't have, no. My nephew went out that day and never returned home. Why?
Yeah.
Somebody knows why. So, he left that day with intentions on coming home.
Yeah.
His clothes were at home. His belongings were at home. Somebody's going to take off. You think they would take a few of their favorite things.
Yeah.
Right.
Now,
he had a black backpack on his back, and which he wore every day. The young guys, they do that. They carry their things in there, and it makes no sense. It just something, my nephew does have a little bit of a mental health disorder. He was taking his medication for that. He has not gone for that. Did somebody, if he was having a moment, did he say something to somebody and they didn't like it, and he's not realizing, what he was saying? Somebody do something to him? I don't know.
There's so many questions.
Yeah.
So many questions that we could go on here for days.
Now, do the detectives on the case, I know that, she's working with Joe Cremis and you're working with Detective Welsh. Do they often cross with the information they have, or do they share, since you're dealing with people missing in the same area, or is it just completely different? Like,
I can't. I don't know what you mean. Like,
I have no clue if they're collaborating on the cases.
okay, well, because all these people, all these people that go missing, they have to be,
I that would be a question for them. I don't want to,
I'm sure it comes up in their conversation, but they've never said anything.
No, they've never said anything. They don't, they don't mix. As far as when I have a conversation with them, they don't mix, well, in this case, or that case.
No, they don't.
They have not done that. Everybody's case is separate. What's that?
They actually told us if we find a body, don't necessarily assume it was James, because apparently there's, bodies missing around here. And we're like, wow.
Yeah, there was all of on the Facebook. When this first came to light, there was a lot of people that either gone missing or bodies that were found. So you have to think maybe one of these detectives have a missing piece in like a puzzle piece to somebody else's case. And
Yeah, sure.
Right. And I think too, like when you talk to the police, they don't give you all information. I don't think they're doing that to be disrespectful to the families. It's their case and they don't want to compromise anything. Because, say we say something to someone, okay, they told me this, and you tell that person, please don't say anything. And they always do.
they always do.
Yes.
Right. So they don't want to compromise their investigation. So I get that and I understand that, and I don't hold that against the police. Like I said, I've had nothing but good experience so far with the Pottsville Police Department, especially with Detective Walsh.
Okay.
I'll call him. He'll call me back. It doesn't take days or weeks or things like that. And if it takes a day or two, he'll apologize to me. And I get it. They're busy. They have other cases. But as far as, him being, compassionate, he's been wonderful. He's been absolutely wonderful. And I'm glad that he's on Zachary's case, because I don't think I would want anybody else. Me.
Well, I think, Zachary was, and I guess, it all depends on the scenarios around each boy and, what was happening. Sometimes we felt, and we wholeheartedly believe it wasn't the Pottsville Police Station at first, that had the case. And
it was White Township where I reported a miss, and I lived in Cambola, Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
So I reported it in White Township. Then it was switched over to Pottsville Police because he went missing in Pottsville.
Yeah.
And with Zachary, I don't understand how you could have somebody that's always, walking in downtown Pottsville doing the same thing every day, just completely disappear and have no contact with family. Now, ladies, you can back me up on this. From all of us talking with each other, tell me, what do you think of Zachary's case? What do you think happened to my nephew?
I absolutely, wholeheartedly believe he's close to where he was last seen, and somebody definitely knows.
They know what happened. I believe they know what happened to my son.
Thank gosh that you have him on film. You actually have a definite last time. Yeah, Mm-hmm.
Now, did you guys have cell phones on them to where they can ping the cell phone, like the last time they used their phone, to where they can kind of zero in on a location?
Zachary's case, no, his phone was broke.
Okay.
Jesse's case, they did do that, yeah.
Well, James's case, I'm not really sure if they got a ping on it, but we know what happened to his phone and who ended up with it.
Oh, wow.
Huh.
Here's just a little thing with James's case. So,
And nothing was done about
Zachary, she says the creature of habit. James was not a creature of habit. So he was old enough. He didn't have to check in with mom, and he had friends. So it was a weekend. It was a weekend. Like, did you see James? Did you see James? Did you?
Yeah,
and then so it was 2 weeks before. It's like, wait a minute, nobody saw him. Hold on a minute, and that's when he reported him missing. So they already had 2 weeks jump on it, and I know that forever kills her, but it's understandable. He was an adult. He lived with his mother, but he was an adult. And
I'd ask his friend.
Yeah,
he's around.
But they didn't really see me though.
And they started coming to me.
And then it was like, where is he? Where is he?
And with Zachary's case, that like I said, people are saying different things, and it's kind of like, well, this one knows, and that one knows, and this one knows. So I think they all know.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
and it's
the same.
your conscience, if they know what happened to him or where he's at, your conscience has to be eating at you. You're gonna break sooner or later, and I'm telling you, I'm not the type of person that's going to let this go. I've been searching everywhere for my nephew.
I've been going for 12 years.
Yeah,
and I won't stop.
She won't stop. No, I'm dead. We will never stop. All three of us here, all three families here, will never stop.
You think you hear them talking to you. They think they're saying, Aunt Lulu, I'm over here. I'm come get me. You hear their voice.
Yep.
You really hear their voice. You could be going about your business and making yourself a cup of coffee. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh my gosh.
When I look at his son, when I look at James' son, it kills me.
Mm-hmm.
Even
I know.
his father.
I wish I had the answers. I wish I had the answers for everybody to heal everybody's heart. But we won't give up. These are our boys, and we all are a family now. And these cases brought us together, and we're going to continue this fight. It's a hard one, but you know what? We're stronger than these weak links that know what happened. We're stronger.
That's right. And you know what? They have to know, and whoever knows out there, we're not going to stop. And we're coming for you.
Yeah. All I want to know is if somebody would please call the Pottsville Police Department. Call Detective Welsh at 570-622-1234, in extension 1333. Just tell them where Zachary is.
We just want to write down that phone number. Can you say that again, please?
It's 570-622-1234, extension 1333. That's Detective Joseph Welsh.
Okay.
There's a $6,000 reward for information that leads us directly to Zachary Vidal's whereabouts. There's also a reward on the Pennsylvania Crime Stoppers that leads to any information on the whereabouts of Zachary Vidal.
Okay.
Make that call.
Now,
Yes, absolutely.
Did Detective Joe Crumis have an extension to call at the Pottsville Police? I know.
Bernadette's gonna look that up right now. She has it in her contacts.
Okay. Just so we have it.
Even if you're listening to this and you don't want to call that line directly, call the comm center, 570-628-3792. Say, hey, this is where they're at. Hang up. I don't care. Do it.
That's right.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's anonymous.
That's a call center. Okay, we have that information.
Now, was James on foot as well?
Well, he was in a car on the mountain last. Nobody walked away. They had said, But we have reason to believe that was not his last thing, but it just stuck with everybody, and they never went past that.
Okay, because
Maybe it's a story they agreed on.
Yeah.
I'm trying
And
to.
when we first
connect the dots.
happened, we hung flyers everywhere, and people took them down.
People seriously took them down.
Oh, I'm sorry. Bernadette only has
His personal.
his personal cell phone.
Okay, we won't give that
you
out.
could just call you could just call the police department and ask for Detective Joe Cromis.
Okay.
I could find out his extension.
They
Okay.
can ask for him or they can ask for any police officer.
Yeah.
Yes, correct. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And with Zachary, there's been numerous searches. The Pottsville Police Department have conducted searches. They have brought in search parties from Ohio. I have had search parties with family members of mine, and what the sad fact it is, I've had numerous ones, and a handful of people, showed up, because I feel in my heart when they hear that someone has a problem, they label people. People label people.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, oh, well, he had problems, so, I'm not going to this or I'm not going to that. This is somebody's loved one.
Yeah.
I don't care if they had mental problems, alcohol problems, drug problems. It's still somebody's loved one. Still someone's child, someone's niece, someone's nephew, someone's husband, someone's wife, someone's cousin, you name it. It's still somebody's loved one. This is what's wrong with this world. People need to come together. Times like this, people need to come together and help. People don't.
Absolutely. A life is a life.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. People tell you they're going to help and they don't. I think that's a big letdown when you have that high hope. Oh my gosh, maybe we're going to find them today because Joe, Mary, Susie, and Sally are going to come and help us, and they don't show.
You know,
You're the one out there walking.
You're on a high, thinking you're going to find it, and then boom, you're right back down, and you don't.
Somebody will message you on a Sunday night and say, oh, it's 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night when you're getting ready to go to bed. Oh my gosh, I heard this or I heard that. Only to have you up for 5 hours spinning in circles. Think, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Only for it to be a smack in the face because they made it all up.
Jesus.
Yep.
It's horrible.
Yeah. You know, when this first happened, I was looking under every hoodie. When some kid was walking down the street and everybody wore hoodies and their hood up. I was actually
Everybody looks alike.
to look under that hoodie to see if it was him.
Same here. Everybody looks like your loved one. They all they start, and then when you yell their name and the person turns around, it's a 60-year-old person, homeless person walking on the streets. Their hood up because they're freezing. You think it's your loved one. I know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You're not the same. You're looking behind you all the time. It changes you. It changes your way of thinking. It
changed our entire family, really. It changed our entire family.
Mm-hmm. You're not the same person as you used to be.
No.
You can't even enjoy things like you used to. Because it's a constant reminder. You're hanging up a decoration and you feel like taking it down because it takes you back to when they were little. And they're not there to help you hang it. Or they're not there to say, can you get that out of my way? I'll bang my head off of it every time I walk through the archway. These are the things that you don't have anymore. They're gone. They destroyed it.
Right.
People that know destroyed that. It's awful. Awful. Awful thing to have to go through on a daily basis, wondering where your loved one is and what happened to them. Are they going to come home? Are they alive? Are they deceased? That just follows you throughout your entire day.
And it's always the little things, too.
Mm-hmm. It is. You cry. Like I was just crying. Now I'm talking okay. Then I'll go in my house after this and I'll sit there and I'll cry. Then I'll go back to a memory and then I'll be okay. It changes you. It changes you. It really, really does. This isn't fair. Nobody. You go on the internet and you look at all these missing person, cases throughout the United States. There needs to be something done. When somebody goes missing, even somebody with a mental disorder, there should be a text that goes out. That person could be found within minutes. Nothing goes out, but their loved ones go out and searching for them, and then you can't find them, and then it's too late.
Right. I agree. I was looking up, I just was
there should be some type of alert.
Yeah, and I was messaging some people about that. It's not like basically like an Amber Alert, but just something that, would come up. And, I mean, yeah, people would be found a lot faster that way because then everybody around, they'd be looking around and they'd see them. And
the people missing in America is awful. I can't believe that, and I can, Carol, by just following Jesse's story, I've watched the groups that she joined, and I kind of, started to ease into joining these groups. Well, that's all you see on your Facebook newsfeed is this one's missing and that one's missing. And then these people are so desperate looking for a loved one, and you feel so bad for them. You look at it and you think to yourself, oh my gosh, they're living what we're living. God bless them. Even before all this happened, before Zachary went missing, or with Jesse and James and the other, John Lango. I went to school with John.
1988.
She went to school with John.
I was graduating with him. He was my buddy, and he went missing New Year's Day, gone.
Yeah, going to school. Everybody was like, "Where is John?"
His poor mother, I never knew she was going through this torture like this.
Yeah. It's just, and then you think to yourself, oh my gosh, look at these people that are missing. You even cry for them and you feel bad and you want to help them, not realizing it happened to you then. It hit us. It hit us now. It's us now. We're going through it. Why? I don't know.
Oh, no, why?
Why, right, yeah.
You just sit and you think, oh my gosh, that's really sad, and you're kind of like carrying that with you for a couple of days, like, oh my gosh, did you see that story on Facebook, that missing person? No, it's
no. It consumes your heart, your mind, and your soul. It consumes you.
You scream their name. You scream James. You scream Jesse. You scream John. You scream Zachary. Tell us, give us a sign. Where are you? We'll come right now. But it doesn't come. It doesn't come. What comes the next day goes by and you don't know where they are. How could people hold that from us?
It's just another day of suffering for us.
It is.
That's all it is.
It's like I hope it, you don't want it to be a life sentence.
And then I talked to my sister, and I feel so bad. This is her third born child, and it's like I was there with Zachary before. I held him at birth. His big, beautiful eyes. And I remember one time walking in the mall, and I'm holding him because he loves me so much. And I was holding him as a baby, and some lady said to me, she says, oh my gosh, your little boy looks just like you. I said, he does, doesn't he? Thank you. And my sister looks at me, and she goes, hey, that's my son. But, these are the things that you see coming. It's like, I want Zachary. I want him to be found. If he is gone, let us find him and bring him home and give him a proper burial. Now it's my mother and father, because I know if he is no longer with us, what is it going to be able to give him a proper burial? That he'll be with my parents down at the cemetery and they'll hold him tight. And I lost my mother to cancer. And my mother, she passed away. And my dad was only found out 2 days before my mom passed away that he had cancer. So this was a double whammy. And then they were in a car accident, my sister with the kids, and I had to get down to Georgia. to leave my mom on her deathbed to go get my niece and my nephews. And I remember walking in that door and Zachary coming at me and putting his arms around me. And he says, Lou, you're here to save us. And now I can't find them. And then my mom passed away and I got the kids back. And she was able to see her grandbabies before she took her last breath. And if my dad was alive and he heard these rumors, Bernadette, you know what my daddy would have done.
Yeah.
He would have got up in their faces and tell them where my grandson is, and you tell me right now. But I'm sorry for crying, but I'm not having a good day, and I just want Zachary found. So please, if you were listening to this podcast, please tell us where Zachary is so we can bring him home. Please end this nightmare and give us closure. Zachary doesn't deserve this, neither do we. Please find it in your heart to pick up the phone and call Detective Welsh at the Pottsville Police Department and bring our boy home.
That's right.
I can't talk no more.
Oh, no, we'll let you take your time here. Man, you got all of us a little emotional right now.
I don't want to go to my grave. I'm 52 years old. I don't want to go to my grave on my bed wondering where my nephew is.
No,
Neither do I.
I don't. I'm 62.
I don't either, Cindy.
It's hard. It's a struggle every day for us. Every single day.
I believe it.
No family deserves to go through this. This is torture. It's the only word in the whole dictionary that can describe what we're going through is torture.
I did wrong. You deserve to go through this for so long.
No, and you're a mama, and my heart goes out to you, wondering where your baby is, and for Carol wondering where her Jesse is, and her children wondering where their daddy is.
Yeah.
No.
And see, I'm doing like the part you're doing for your sister. I did for my sister too, and it's just as painful. And I'm trying to be the strong one for her, but it's our family too, and it's hard, and
they're our babies. Our sister's kids are our kids.
Yes, I mean we were always so close and everything. I tried to be the strong one for her, but I turned my had him cry or something like that, and then turn around to be strong for her, so we could, try to have a clear mind thinking, and let's get through this. And there's no book on it. It's so hard.
It was one of the hardest things I've heard through this is what my sister Kelly said to me. She's the mother, and said to me, she said, Cindy Lou, she said, my Zachary's gone. She said something bad happened to him. And I didn't know what to say. Like, I didn't know what to say. Because she's the mother. She knows. The mama knows.
I know that feeling. No. You somehow in your heart, you know what I mean?
You know if your son's gone or not.
I wanted to jump through the phone. She's consoling me. I wanted to jump through the phone and just hug her in there and let go. I cannot imagine. I know how I feel, and I just can't. My sister shouldn't be going through this wondering where her child is.
First thing I said to my mother was, Mom, now I know how you feel. Because she lost 3 sons. And that's how my mother felt. I said, I know how you feel now.
Yeah. I can't deal with this much more, ladies. This is awful.
I say be strong.
I say this every day, and that's what
whoever knows out there, we're coming for you. See what you're doing to these ladies. We're coming for you. We're coming for you. We're not going to stop.
No, we can.
If these people are the ones out there who did this, if these people could have the balls to commit something like this to our loved ones, but don't have the balls to say it, why? Because they'll go to jail or something like that. That's what I think. That type of person it is out there who knows what they did to our loved ones.
They know, and they always talk because you always tell somebody something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Somebody always tells somebody, and that's what I'm saying. You know, the person that they told to, they need to come forward. They need to come forward with the information. You know,
There's usually always somebody I mean, from what I've
that you
learned,
can
there's
find
always
it.
yeah, and somebody that's usually involved can't control themselves but to actually like brag to others because they think they're a badass.
Yes.
Exactly.
And I had that with the guy over in St. Clair and threatening girls, like, you know what happened to James Herrick? Well, it can happen to you too. These girls coming and telling me this. You know, and
Every
so,
time
yeah.
you say, like they say, oh yeah, we know where the body is. Nobody could ever take us there to this.
Right.
No, like I said before, because they like to feel important and they like to involve, you know, they like to involve themselves. One thing I learned from the police, they feel important. They feel that they have to involve themselves. You know, I
feel like
I called the police or I called the cops to tell them, you know, Sally Sue made this comment or Joe said that. You know, don't do that nonsense. Don't send families on wild goose chases. Don't send police on wild goose chases. Give them the facts.
I still go out there on wild goose chases if somebody tells me an area. I still go out.
So have I. So is my whole entire family. Somebody even left work got points for leaving work to run out the door. Yeah, because I know my husband's one of them that got points for leaving. And we left and we went searching in an area over on Peacock Street. You know, right there by Mary Queen of Peace. Oh, well, he's laying back here in this wooded area, and he's close to the water there.
Mm-hmm. We searched there. Greens used to be back in, you know, it's in between, like
The mines.
Yeah, the mines.
But if you say that these, you know, the missing persons, you know, back in that area, well, then why are you standing there waiting on the police and the family to show up, to show them the location? It's just...
Sometimes people come out to Bernie like this, and my first question is, why didn't you say this 12 years ago then?
Yeah.
Or 11 years ago, or
because sometimes too, now I might sound like I'm contradicting myself, but sometimes too, you know, it's their conscience, it's stuff's coming out. It's sometimes maybe these rumors, or if it's all put together, that somebody is telling the truth.
Well, we do listen to them, but you almost think at that point in time, you know, they're hearing the rumors too. Then what happened in the rumor mill is people add on to that rumor and then add on to that. It gets worse and worse.
And that's why I said that's why the police don't give us all the information that they have, because of that very fact, that very thing.
Yes.
So,
And that's what I said, when I get told the story, then I'll go back through the notes like, oh, I heard that before, and go back and see where I heard that and see if the stories match up. But, you know,
right.
try to do your own detective work.
She just tries to find a bit of a different information out of all that, so that, you know, that she didn't
Maybe
hear
I
before,
could
so she
check
can.
that.
She always wants to check. She always wants to check.
I reached out to psychics myself, and some of the things that they tell you is your jaw drops, because it's like, oh, wow, you know, I heard that, you know, and it's ringing a bell, and it's clicking, and you're like, your heart's racing, and you're going with it, and you're going with it.
We got a medium up on the mountain with us.
Mm-hmm.
I know sometimes Bernie gets she gets boggled though sometimes, and I say to her, you have to take a step back from the case. Give yourself some time to refresh your mind and step back for a couple of days. And she has to, because it will start all going, you know, driving her crazy.
Yeah, you eat, sleep, and you breathe it, and then you're no good. You're no good to your loved one because you're run down. You got to be fresh. You got to be healthy. You have to have a clear, positive mind.
And I would say to people, like, I can't deal with this right now when I'm back on it. You know, I mean, I need a break. I can't function no more trying to do any of this.
Yeah, because if she gets pushed to the point, it's like almost flies off the handle, you know, and...
Well, it's understandable.
I know Bernie's demeanor got like a little meaner with everybody, and you know she's angry and very angry, and
because you lose trust.
And I can't trust no one. I don't trust no one, not even family. That's ridiculous. You know what I mean?
She trusts me, and you know, I've been with her in the beginning, and I am her sounding voice.
Some family, you know, like it's just ridiculous.
And I know with Carol, with her Jessie, we often message each other, and she's a wonderful girl, and I commend her for what she's doing for Jessie and for all of us, because she has us all on the phone together with this nice gentleman that's doing this podcast. And I thank you both very much that you're getting our stories out there, because somebody that's listening to this might make a difference.
Hopefully.
Be that voice. Right, Carol?
Right.
I guess it's her turn now.
Is better.
Rachel, thank you so much for doing that for us.
RCC Carol Rachel.
I keep calling her Carol, but it's
RCC Carol Rachel. I call her RCC, so that's okay.
I call her Carol.
I call her.
I love it.
I don't know. That's funny. At least we can laugh.
You know, I love the fresh ideas and everything, because, you know, we're not computer illiterate or anything like that, but, you know, these podcasts and all that, we'll do anything.
Yeah.
But we won't be able to initiate it, I don't think.
No. We'll let Rachel do that. Rachel, you can do that. You can include us, okay?
Oh, no problem.
All right.
Anthony and his wife and his friend.
I guess it's Rachel's turn now.
Yeah, Rachel's turn. God, Rachel, God bless you.
Thank you. So Jesse Farber, also known as Jesse Rex, he went missing on August 11th, 2015 in Tamaqua, PA. He called me at 8:43 p.m. He said that he was on the mountain behind the Tamaqua High School, and he told me that he was in a tree and that there were 10 to 11 coyotes after him. He said to bring guns and that his phone was about to die. He also said he switched his location from the high school mountain to the elementary school mountain, which are across town from one another. And then he switched it back to the high school mountain, and I said, well, where exactly are you? And he said, the high school. And I said, are you sure? He said, yeah. And I said, well, where exactly are you? And just as he started to speak, the phone hung up. I called immediately back, and it just went straight to the voicemail, like it didn't ring or nothing. So we went up to the high school, me and my brother, and we drove around for, I think it was roughly 2 hours. We got out on foot. We yelled for him, and we would turn off the car and walk around. We did everything, blew the horn, and then we would always wait for a reply, and we went everywhere. And we didn't have any luck. We didn't see anybody or anything up on the mountain. So when I came home, and I immediately called the police, and they came to the house, and they immediately reported him as missing. In the next couple days from that, I got a hold of some search teams and stuff that were willing to come and search, and there was a lot of people that showed up, and a lot of people on foot. There was four-wheelers, trucks. We had dogs. There was two helicopters. There was military helicopters, and there was state police helicopters. In those couple days, though, they didn't find anything. After that, they did a few other different searches. They did a search of an air shaft where they say a dog hit there, but they weren't exactly sure. They said they weren't sure if the dog hit there. That's what I got from that. And so they concentrated on this air shaft, and they put like these professional cameras down there 2 times, and both the cameras broke. So then somewhere in Canada, I don't remember the name offhand, they were willing to send us a camera, but we had to pay shipping, so we were able to get enough money, and they shipped it, and they put that one down there, and that was in, I think it was 2017, and they found the other parts to the other broken cameras, and they said that there wasn't any sign that he had fallen into that hole, which was like a couple hundred feet deep. But I was also told that up on that mountain that there's holes like that every 100 yards. So it's hard to, imagine that. I mean, he could have fell in any one of them holes. And I didn't even know that a hole like that existed. And I grew up on these mountains. I didn't even know one like that existed. So I seen it, and it's scary looking. And this particular one, you almost couldn't see it until you were right on top of it, with the way that it was sort of like on a down slope, and with the brush around it and everything, you almost couldn't see it till you were right on top of it. But they've done underwater searches. And me and my family still do searches now, but like Cindy was saying, I have a lot of people that do help me and everything, but I do searches now, and most of the time a lot of people don't show up. And I mean, everybody has their own things going on and whatever, but it's easier when more people show up so you can actually cover more area. One important thing I wanted to bring up was in 2016, there was a book bag in a tree, and it was a couple miles out from the high school. And I was notified about it, and I was supposed to be called for identification and just to talk about it, and they never had called me. And for the past, since that happened, it would be 7 years, I've been trying to get the police to let me be able to see it, or can I see a photo of it, and just nothing. And they didn't keep this bag for evidence. They didn't DNA test it. They didn't do nothing. They released it to his mother. And recently, a couple months ago, she had posted this video, or these pictures that I guess they were doing some kind of tribute to Jesse, and there was pictures of just various items that were supposedly what were found that day. So that was when I actually, for the first time, was able to see this book bag, and I immediately knew it wasn't his. So what I thought would be a huge thing for his case, because once this bag was found, there was searches and everything was concentrated on this area. And, but that wasn't the case. Like, I feel like that should be important, and nothing was done. I went to the police about it. Nothing was done, at least not yet. So that's what I've done recently. I'm trying to think as in my opinion, I mean, I like to know everyone's opinion, but to me, I feel like because of what Jesse said in this phone call, that he was in a tree, and he's known to carry a book bag, and so many years go by, and then you're not allowed to see this bag, and then I see it, and I know it's not his, and I feel like the whole investigation should have been
Yes, I feel the same
into
way.
differently.
Yeah, if you know it wasn't his, you know what I mean? If you know, yeah, so.
Right, and there's also the aspect of that somebody put it there, and what would be the reason that somebody put it there? You know, like, are they trying to throw the investigation off? I mean, there's been other things that I've been looking into and working on with a lot of different people, like his Facebook has been activated. It was somebody went onto his Facebook only like 3 days after he went missing, and they ended up they did get a warrant for Facebook and his phone records and all, and so when I first seen that it was active, I thought immediately it was the police. So I called the police, and they said, no, it's not us, because we have to wait for the warrant to come back. And I think that took about 2 weeks. So this person was reading messages and all that. And since his Facebook has been active, and it still is being altered. And I mean, the posts that he made in those few days before he went missing have all been deleted. There's pictures that have been deleted. The whole account is just altered. And I feel like that is another big thing, because God knows what else is important on there.
So they don't know who that is? They can't trace that back?
Like an IP address?
I'm hoping that they do that. I've brought it up, but I haven't heard anything back yet. I mean, I think that they should, but
Goodness.
I'm hoping that that'll lead somewhere, because in the day before Jesse went missing, he was talking to somebody over this Facebook Messenger. So that could very well lead to something, to some kind of evidence.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah. There's a lot of different things like this that I've, investigated and found out on my own, like the bag and everything else. Like, I always knew in my heart that wasn't his bag. But I was never able to see it. But there was so many things that led me to believe that he wasn't in that general area. I mean, the general area alone was so hard to get up that if he was actually running from anything at all, it would have took him over an hour to climb that.
Yeah, I saw your video. That was rough terrain.
It really is, yeah.
Well, see, they said where James was rough terrain, too, with all the mine shafts and everything that are all over the mountain. They considered very rough. They wouldn't grant, like, an official search.
Right.
Because it was too rough a terrain for people not knowing it to go up on that mountain and search for my son.
Right. Yeah, they did that. They did that with me too. We had a lot of search teams up there, but they said that they weren't going to send them into the stripping pits, even with the equipment they had. And you guys know, if you hear something or you get something in your head, you almost have to investigate it, or
you have to go and check it out. Yes, you do. Yeah, you
can't. It'll eat you alive if you don't. So me and my brother literally went into these stripping pits with no equipment to the bottom and walked them. And the one runs across that hole from Tamaqua to where it meets Catawissa Street, and it's 4 miles long. We walked in there to make sure he wasn't in there, because I couldn't, you know what I mean? I was thinking first, like when this all happened, that I bet he must have fell and maybe hurt his leg. He can't move, or he got lost, or so many things. And so I was like, I can't just leave that he could be down there.
Were you in there yelling his name like we were, we were in the mountain just screaming James for, a year straight, just screaming James.
But if somebody tells you something, you have to go check it out, or it's going to eat you alive. Yes, it will eat you alive.
Yeah, I mean, just like everybody else said, I've heard everything that you can imagine, everything. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to hear that stuff. And over the years, I kind of learned that, I used to get really upset, of course, when you hear that. There's no, even if you don't believe it, it's hard to think about. And, but I've learned to, that's going to happen with this. And I try to tell, I try to help Cindy with that too, because it's only been a year with Zachary. I try to say, like, you can expect this to happen, but don't let them eat you alive, because that's just what they're looking for. Those people, they're cowards, because every time I ask somebody to meet me face to face to talk about anything, they have to say that not one will. But yeah, I mean.
And a lot of times they'll tell you, too, they're here or they're there. And a lot of times it's private land that you got to watch where you're going, because
you can't go on it. Yep.
Yeah. You have to have permission, or you don't know what you could fall into something. You don't know what you're walking into. You can get hurt yourself. You know, one day I walked 7 miles, me and family members, 7 miles, because we were told this and that, you know, and but you don't know. Huh.
Yeah. And you hear so many different things, and like I was even looking on, you know, just looking up statistics the one day, and I see, and it just blew my mind because it said that, like, you know, just certain percentages of adults who go missing, and it said that only 1% of adults who go missing won't return after a month. And I was thinking about all of us, and I'm like, in our cases, it's 100%. I mean, of
Rachel,
missing around here.
And it's Donna, and I just wanted to ask you something. So early on, when Jesse was first went missing, and I'm so sorry we didn't reach out. You know, we're in a, you know, who knew we could be such a force with all of us, you know, and and I don't want anybody else to join our force, because I just would never want that on anybody.
Right.
But so you said the coyotes were chasing him, and and he said coyotes were chasing him. He was up a tree. I remember early on that story, they were saying coyotes weren't like real coyotes. It was I heard that too. I heard that, and you know, I'm sure you heard it too. Yeah. Not animal wise.
Right. Yeah. I mean, his mother started saying that, although she also says that everything I said about that phone call is a lie. But I believe that what he believed was that they were animals. Whether he was hallucinating, whether he hit his head because he was panicked. But I also didn't hear any noise in the background. Like, he was very frantic. And as the call went on, he got worse and worse, like upset wise. And, but I never heard people. I know coyotes are noisy animals, especially if they're after something. I never heard that. It didn't even sound like as if he was in the woods. Like, there wasn't leaves rustling or anything. It was very quiet in the background. And I mean, I dissect that phone call every day. I mean, mostly because of that fear in his voice that haunts me. But, and I know that the call, everything he said was weird. And I always try to think, like, did he mean something else, or was I supposed to understand this differently, or, you know, all these things, because I don't understand, because even if it was any kind of animal attack, there would have been evidence left behind too. Mm-hmm. There would be, you know, clothing. I mean, you wouldn't see it now, but there'd be blood evidence.
When you said there was cadaver dogs, they would have, you know, so they would have definitely picked up on that.
Mm-hmm. Right. And in the first initial searches, it was so hot those days that that somebody had mentioned, you know, if he did fall in one of these holes, because of it being so hot, the decomposition would be so strong that the dogs would have picked it up. We probably would have smelled it.
You probably would have smelled it yourself, yeah.
You're right. So, I mean, after all that, I start to believe, was he even there? Was he on the other mountain, or was he not even sure that where he was? Or, you know, it's a lot of...
That's what I say, and switching locations, yeah.
Yeah, and then you could say to yourself, too, did somebody have him, and he was just quickly enough able to make a call? Did they slip him something? He was hallucinating. All these things, let's run through your mind of what could have happened. And that's awful.
Yeah, and everything you just mentioned.
Changing back and forth. Plus his location changing from the elementary to the high school, you know, that was weird.
Yeah. It is, yeah, because he also knew the mountains pretty well. So it also made me think, like, well, you know, what happened from that last sighting that he was seen, and he was okay because he was seen on the S-curves around 720 by somebody that knew him his whole life, and Jesse was walking into town, which the S-curves are right alongside the high school mountain. But only so you figure 7:20, he called me at 8:43. In that amount of time, what the hell happened that he went from being okay to this hysterical state?
So he didn't drive. He wasn't driving a vehicle and got into the mountains. He was walking.
Yeah. Yeah. And even where
was that out of character for him, Rachel? Was that out of character for him to be in the mountains and
Be in that area.
We went up the mountains a lot. Like, we were big woods people. We did a lot of stuff, but at nighttime, it definitely would be out of character for him to be up there unless there was a reason for it. And sometimes I know in the daytime, when he was younger, he had told me that there was like this certain path that he would cross over. Basically, you'd go up the mountain from the Tamaqua side and you would cross over and you would be in the area where he was staying, where his grandmother lived. So that was something that I thought, well, was that what he was trying to do when he got lost? But I was thinking at the same time, with this sighting at the S-curves, he was walking from where his grandmother had lived, that area, into Tamaqua. So that time he decided to walk, to walk and take the road. So what happened that he turned around and then went the opposite way and decided to go up the mountain in the dark? Like, that doesn't seem like something he would do either.
So was he leaving a family member's house that day that he was visiting, or what led him to be out? Like, was the grandmother on the high school side, or was she on the
she's on the valley side, Lewistown Valley side.
Oh, okay.
Oh, she's up behind the high school, that like going out towards Heisler's, you mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. When you go up over the mountain there, yeah.
Rabbit Run.
Yeah.
Up a Rabbit Run. Okay.
Yeah.
No,
So basically, like, he was seen, I don't know if he was at his grams before he was seen. She never told me that he was, but so basically, if you think about that, he like walked around the mountain on foot on the road into Tamaqua. And then, so what happened in that time for him to be in the woods, even if it wasn't the high school, and him to be that frantic, you know what I mean?
now did they ping his location somewhere, or like since you were on the phone with him before the call dropped, was there maybe an iPhone, like Find My iPhone, to where you can try to figure out where he was or somewhere nearby before the call completely just dropped?
Well, they did ping his phone, and this is the way they explained it to me. They said that there's a tower on each of these mountains, the high school and the elementary, and they said that the last phone call pinged off both mountains. And from those towers, he could be anywhere in a 2-mile radius. So that's a lot of area to look, especially when it's wood. So recently I tried to make like a map myself, and I figured that, where these two radiuses would overlap would be the place he most likely would have called from, you know what I mean? Give or take. But that's as much information they ever gave me about the phone ping. His phone wasn't ever found. I know his voicemail was shut off. I don't know how that happened, but he did have a voicemail and it was shut off. Also, his Facebook was set up through his cell phone.
So odd. Whoever has that Facebook.
That was one thing I've been trying to figure out, because in 2015, Facebook was different than it is now. Like, now you can log in a lot of different ways, but back then I'm pretty sure, and I could be wrong, that if you signed up using your cell phone, you could use your phone number. Now, but if you were to try to use a computer and try to type your phone number, it wouldn't let you log in. That you basically needed to use it from that cell phone. Does anybody know if that's true, or?
I don't know. I have Facebook, and when I go to log into my Facebook, it goes all the way back to the first time I logged in, which is Verizon.net, which I haven't had forever, and that's what I still have to use. I still use the same login as I did when I first signed up. It's the same password and everything.
Right. So, yeah. So, like I said, I know things that this was 8 years ago, so I know that Facebook's come a long way since then and things are different. But in that era, like in that time frame, it made me think, does somebody have a cell phone? And that's how they were able to get into his account so fast, because even if they hacked the account, that was so fast, within like 2-3 days after he went missing. So, I have all these questions that I think are good questions that would actually lead somewhere if I could just get some answers to them.
My
would make me
investigating
think,
mind
too,
wants
that
to
somebody
find-
had his phone.
What's that?
I said, my investigating mind wants to get a search warrant and Facebook and find out who this person is that has this account. That is way too. It's an access. It's a lead. That's a lead.
I have access to my son's account.
Yeah, she's not shopping that though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
But
I
if
mean,
someone would have known a likely password and the email to get into it, even if they got into it from a different either computer or a cell phone, it had to be someone who knew him well enough to get into it.
which I don't know anybody, like the only person like that would be me. But the thing is that he created this account. It was created on August 1st, and he was staying at his grandmother's at that time. So he only had it not even 2 weeks before he went missing. And I don't know how long it takes to hack somebody. I guess you'd have to be pretty good to be able to figure out their email and their password that fast. So, I'm not saying that that's what happened.
Why would they want to hack him, 3 days after he goes missing? To figure that somebody hacking somebody, like he was only 2 weeks, you said, on there?
Yeah, he got it on August 1st and he went missing the 11th. So he only had it like 11 days.
Yeah, so you're not, he doesn't have that much on there to hack with friends,
Yeah.
or anybody.
Well, why somebody would want to do that?
That's somebody who knows him.
That's what it sounds like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and another big question is what would be the reason to be hacking into his account after he's missing? Because for a while I thought it was him, and I was hopeful, and I was writing him messages saying, I don't know what's going on, but if you're in trouble, I'm here for you. And
Were they answered?
the messages were being read, but they were never answered.
Oh, my God.
That's strange.
Why are you standing
Me too. I got.
So it obviously wasn't him, because if they would have, and whoever it was must have been smart, because I knew him so well that if they would have messaged me back, just by the way they were talking, the way they spelled anything, I would have known. And if it was him, by the way, I was begging and pleading, like, I'll do whatever you need, and I also told him, I said, look, I don't know, like, by then I started hearing rumors, and so I was afraid. Somebody actually broke into our house, and there was this big knife left outside, so at this point, I'm freaking out because me and Jesse have 2 small children, and this is all going on. And I message him and I'd say, if there's something going on and you had to take off, could you let me know what I need to do to protect myself and my kids? What are we supposed to do? He would never have left us like that. And
do you think it was him trying to reach out and then he couldn't talk at all? Is that a possibility? I'm sure everything's a possibility, but.
At first I did think that. At first I thought that maybe that was his way of saying I'm okay, but that comes back to a lot of things. Like, I believe that after 8 years he would have made some kind of contact. And the other thing that because a lot of people mentioned, like, do you think that phone call was his way of leading you off and he ran away? And I said, well, I think everything's a possibility. I take everything into account. But I said, the thing that gets me about that call is that fear. I've never heard a human being sound like that. And if you know a person well enough, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what Scared to Death sounded like.
Yeah.
And, so.
By looking at...
That's what the Pottsville police were saying to me, that James just left, too. That James just walked away.
They could run away. Run away.
That was never said to me.
And what I mean is Pittsburgh. That's the area that I would say he would run away to. I always wanted to go to Pittsburgh. I want to go out there and check. You know,
But say all three guys did that. Why would they have never contacted the family? At some point, they'd be like, I can't let my mom like that. I can't let my wife like that. I got children. I got a mom.
He would have never left that money in the bank either, I said. He would have never left that. That's one thing we got is he just got that award from unemployment. He got a chunk. He had a chunk of money in the bank. He would have never, he didn't touch it.
You're not going to not contact your family.
No, no.
Especially when you have a son.
They're just not. They're all three were family oriented. So you're not just going to say to heck with this life and roll. It's different if you have somebody that, if there's nothing for me around here, I'm just going to pick up and go. I'm tired of this here. When you have kids, you have mother, you have a girlfriend. I don't believe it in all three cases. I don't believe it. I just don't.
With me and Jesse, we actually, in the time frame before he went missing, there's all these rumors about that he went and bought drugs and all this stuff. And like I said, I'm open to all possibilities. I don't cross it off, but it would be extremely out of character if he did do that. But there wasn't anything else bad. I can't say that there was anything going bad. We were getting along well. Aside from that, there was chunks of money missing time and time again. But he just got a promotion. We were both looking into going to school because we wanted to get better jobs to give our kids a better life. And we actually had plans to get out of here. We didn't want to live here.
Right.
And then this just happened. It just happened, and it just wipes everything clean. You know what I mean? You lose everything. And I just can't think of any reasons or I don't know. I don't know if there was something going on I didn't know about, but it would be so hard considering I lived with him. We even worked together. We worked at the same place. So it's hard to say that he had time to have been, doing something that could have put him in a bad situation. It's just really weird. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, also at one point when you said about the bank account, that the same thing happened with Jesse. The night that he called me for help, he made multiple calls to his bank account to check his balance. And we had gotten paid. We would have gotten paid that following Friday. He went missing on a Tuesday. So he was repeatedly calling his account and checking to see what was in there, which at that time was zero. So that was a big question, too. Why was he repeatedly calling? I mean, it's obviously the amount isn't going to change unless somebody's putting money in it or, So there was that. And then the money did get deposited. His paycheck got deposited Friday. It was never touched. Mm. And the same thing with his phone. I got the records, and the very last call was the call he made to me. There was no activity, no internet, no text, no phone calls after that call to me. So to me, something...
Were there before, though? Were there any suspicious before that?
Well, there was the bank account calls, which I still think is weird. He was in contact with a few people the day before he went missing that I never even knew existed until this happened. He's never brought them up. I even looked back into his phone records to see... was he talking to these people for a long time? And he didn't. So this whole situation does not add up. He ended up staying at somebody's house overnight, and he left from there, was supposed to go to work on August 11th.
I should have to please find out who was using his Facebook.
Did I ever find out?
No, I pray to please find out who that used his Facebook.
Well, I actually did find out who it was. But I don't know if I say that or not. Mm-hmm. But that
you don't have to say who it is, but yeah, that's fine. Ooh, good for you.
Well, I did find out, but nothing is being done about it. The same thing as the bag. So the police department for a long time, were not giving me any information because they told me that, you know, I had no rights. And, you know, I basically, which we weren't married. We were together for almost 8 years, but we weren't married. So they gave me a hard time. But recently they got a new chief of police in, and he's been great. He has been helping. He listens to everything I have to say, and he's trying new things and stuff. So I'm really happy about that. But one thing that I'm fighting for is to get this pushed to state police, which I've talked to them too, and I'm hoping that that will happen because I believe that they have more resources. You know, they could do more, and I'm hoping that with that we could get them all moved to state. I mean, because they could at least help. Like, they don't need to take over, but they could, you know, they could help and do things that local police don't have access to. I mean, they have unlimited access to a lot of things. So that's one thing I'm hoping for in Jesse's case and for all of them.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I had talked to the state police one time, and people that I knew, and they had already, they reiterated a story to me of who it probably was, and I was like, you heard a rumor, and that's what you're going to go with. That it just bummed me out.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, and you know, I knew him and stuff like that, and I just,
Yeah,
I heard
ex-state policeman. And they said, you know who to go to get the information, and it's so wrong. It's wrong. It's not right. I don't know who to go to.
Well, why would they even tell you that? Why would they, if they knew who was involved, why would they be telling you guys to go? That's their job.
It's just, you know, because they were going on that rumor, and we just immediately, it was like, oh my gosh, you heard that rumor.
Yeah.
Wow.
But these are ex-state policemen that hear things, you know, and they tell me, and it's all right.
Now, who was
Right.
detective working on Jesse's case? So we,
he's officer. His name's Officer Hobbs. He just became chief. I'm not even sure. Not that long ago, he was a policeman there when Jesse went missing, but he said that he wasn't really involved in the case at that time.
okay, is there anybody that can call if they have any kind of information?
Sure. Yeah, sure. The phone number is 570-668-5000.
Okay. That way we have some kind of information. That way all three of these boys, if we have any kind of leads or any kind of information, at least the people know exactly who to contact.
Right.
Whew.
So what is your guys' opinion in the main things that, like, I brought up that are, I mean, I've heard everything, like, just like you guys, everybody said, but as for the things that are sticking out to me that I feel like are like red flags, like the bag, the Facebook, the phone, and there's a lot of other things. It's not even just that, but like, do you think that is suspicious?
The Facebook thing to me
Absolutely.
especially sticks out because if his phone isn't turned on afterwards, someone is
Right.
going in on a computer and going in there and changing things. And if that's the case, they should be able to get an IP address and a physical location where that was accessed from.
Exactly.
My, what sticks out to me
I
is
just-
that everybody was on foot.
It's another thing. It's the one thing
Right.
everyone has in common. It's like, was there somebody who was, driving around at night just looking for somebody that was on foot?
I mean, we do a lot of stories about, people, like there's these, I would hate to use the word serial killer in a time like this, but there's people that target people walking on highways or people who are alone. And the fact that they were all three on foot in the same area is what sticks out to me. It's the most common,
Right.
They're all.
Yeah, because they're not exactly all right on Sharp Mountain. I mean, James and Jesse obviously were. Zachary, I think it said that he might have been, that was a possibility, but then they later found out that his last place wasn't there. But all the cases are still, even the ones that weren't there, are incredibly close to Sharp Mountain. And then
John Lango lived on Bunker Hill on Sharp Mountain, and his last known sighting was him leaving his home. So,
Yeah.
and that was back in 1988. He still was never found.
Was he on foot?
Right.
He was on foot. Well, he was on foot, and his brother was really little, but he saw him getting into a car, and he couldn't remember what car or who was or anything like that, and that was it. But he walked away from his home. He was only 17 years old.
That was in 1988.
1988. January, we were going to graduate that June, and pretty sure it was New Year's Eve, and then New Year's Day is when he was reported missing.
He was a strange case.
Yeah.
This goes back 35 years.
Look at all the age. Look at the age group.
Yeah.
It was
Wasn't
my
there
30th reunion, yeah.
just two teenagers about 2 months ago from New Philadelphia that were found?
Yes.
Oh my God, I know their mothers.
That's.
It's horrible.
I believe it said like they were walking around at night or something.
Again, on
What
foot.
what does opinion on Zachary's case? Anybody have one?
That's,
You know,
it's.
I think you're close, and I think Cindy, if anybody's going to find him, you are.
If he was found or last seen leaving 7-Eleven, I mean, there's hotels there. There's there's medical facilities. I wonder if like anyone like had an outside camera that just might have caught something or
Something along the way.
put the next clue to where he went.
Just because he's
Even
so
in the
nice.
city itself, there's all these different places, at restaurants and whatnot.
Bingo. So why only one released?
Yeah, and he was, because he was on the east side of Pottsville. You know, and when I was growing up, that place went to shit.
Now listen, you got camera footage at the 7-Eleven. You got camera footage at the CVS. You got camera footage at the hospital. You got camera footage all over. Why is
7-Eleven last place.
Yeah.
the only thing that was released?
The only thing I could think of is if there was another person involved with him going missing, they had to know the area pretty good to avoid those cameras.
Yeah, that or
Exactly. Exactly. Yes, indeed.
There's
I
only
was-
So now I said in the beginning of this, and this is public knowledge. Okay, you Google their names, the boys' names on Google, and their cases are gonna come up, and there's gonna be things that are out there, like on Amos, it'll state that, allegedly he attended a gathering at a home in Pottsville. So why wasn't my nephew seen on camera footage? Why was the only thing that was released was 7-Eleven?
in this day and
Yeah,
age. I mean,
no cameras anywhere else along.
in this day and age, you're out at a house. There's people with phones out taking pictures all the time.
This is what I'm saying. Okay, where is he? Why isn't he seen walking here or walking there? If he was
something happened. Whatever happened to him happened after 7-Eleven.
Cindy, do they pull those people in question? I feel
Everyone that was at this house gathering.
that our police. I hope we're not sitting in these interrogations or anything. If they're even questioning people, I feel like let us know them because we'll interrogate them until they admit.
There have been people that, yes, have been questioned. I mean, like I stated before, the Pottsville police have been very good about speaking with me or
yeah.
and
I don't
telling
want to
us.
drown anybody. I'm like, I don't want to ever sound like, I hope it doesn't sound like Bernadette or ever down on anybody. It's just, speaking from our case, and we're not trying to fault to anybody.
No.
We apologize. That's like that's out there.
No, gosh, no. And I say, and listen, I say it myself. Everybody can have their own theories, and we you know what? We're the families. We're entitled to that. We can think what different things, because that's all we have to do is think of different things, because we don't have the answers. Mm-hmm. So if I'm wrong, about my theories, then if the truth comes out one day and I was wrong, I apologize for that. But I'm never gonna ever apologize for somebody saying what they said to me about my nephew laying under a pile of leaves. Even if my nephew walked up this pavement right now and said to me, Aunt Lulu, I'm good, I'm here. I will never, ever forget what was said to my face, because that's a hard pill to swallow. Yeah. Is for somebody to say something like that to your face. Don't say it. If that's the case, then say where he is.
Yes.
What pile of leaves is he under? Just don't even joke about something like that. There's nothing humorous about it.
No.
It isn't. There isn't. And, and like we could go back to that where people are saying this and that, don't try to do it. Don't try to be important, because you're not important to me. You may be to yourself, but you're not to me, because you're just you're just a nitwit. Trying to involve yourself in an act of investigations that this is real. This is real life. This is our reality. This is our reality. This isn't a joking matter. And they do it. They don't care. But but that's what you're dealing with. Nitwits.
I think what stands out to me the most is that what I've learned, because Anthony, he's from that area. Everybody knows everybody. It's not like
that's another thing.
A huge town like Wilkes-Barre. You have Scranton. What I'm more familiar with, where you can go into a town and you can know maybe one person at the Walmart. Where if you go down to Pottsville, St. Clair, Frackville area, you're gonna run into people you went to high school with, or
all the time,
or people,
or someone's mom, a brother of somebody.
Yes. And everybody has a nickname for somebody around here, too.
Yep.
Everybody knows people by their nicknames and stuff like that.
You know their whole entire family.
Yeah, they know when you got furniture last.
Yeah.
What year it was. What day it was.
So that's what baffles me.
No, I still live here, and I've run into friends of Zach.
But what you said, what do you think about Zachary's case? Like really think of what?
I don't know what to think, honestly. I ran into friends of his in Port Carbon, and they brought it up, and there's a lot of missing pieces.
And I'm sure they told you they heard this and they heard that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What? Can you tell me? Can you tell us? You don't have to name their names. Can you just tell us all what they said?
I mean, mine shafts came up, of course, because Sharp Mountain is full of them. Mm-hmm. There was another one that had like a big skeptical theory of he ran away, and I don't know what to believe.
See, that's the first I heard that. No, I didn't hear that Zachary ran away.
Short Mountain and the mine shaft, okay, on the side of Bunker Hill, was a little bit of a theory. There are some mine shafts, but there's not hundreds of mine shafts there. There was probably about 6 at the time James went missing. They were blasting over by Gordon Ogle, and the guys over there blasting, they were looking out for them. They were blowing up the mountain. And so we had half the mountain covered by, not half of it, maybe a little bit of the mountain covered by them. And there's actually was only like 6 mines up there.
Now, Sharp Mountain for Zachary, it's been covered several times. So it in the beginning of his disappearance, that the police and the search group had gone up there, and friends of mine have gone up there, that live up that way and very familiar with that area, and nothing.
Well, yeah, even I think it was Bernadette was saying that like they searched the shafts and everything like that.
Yes, they did. And the water shafts, so they would throw rocks down first to see if they could hear the bottom of it. And then they would rappel down and go down and search it. But there was none like bottomless, unless one opened up somewhere that we don't know of. But pretty much the people that were blowing up that mountain told me that the day I was walking with the cadaver dog, he said, people think they just fall into mines up here. He's like, there's not that many. And there's shafts, and it's not like they go into, a bottomless abyss.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with Sharp Mountain. I'm more familiar with Fractal, and I know there's a bunch.
Now, even if we say, okay, the boys, all 3 of them ran away, okay? Somebody out there still knows where they're at. So even if the boys were saying, okay, I don't want them to know. Okay, let's just throw that out there. I don't want them to know. I don't care. I would still tell. I would still call and say, listen, I don't want to get really, but I just saw him at Susie's house, and here's the address. Say something.
Right, like someone has to know.
If somebody always knows in these cases, I mean, and I'm taking that right out of the mouth of babes, right from the police. I did an article with the Potts Republican for Zachary's case, and the police officer wrote right in there, in these types of cases, someone always knows. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they do. And like I said, even if they are alive and well out there, and you're listening to this, call us. Tell us, message us on Facebook, whatever. Send us a letter, find our address on Google, whatever. Call it, do something. Call the police. Tell us, because we have a right to know. This is torture.
It is torture.
Bernadette just said, she's tortured about this Pittsburgh area, because James was talking to a girl out there in Pittsburgh before, he went missing. She owns a burger joint and things. He should, that's what they were saying. She owns a burger joint and had many, and it's almost like, who is it and where do you go? What do you do?
Even with Zachary, okay? Now he would ask people, do you have $1? It comes with your condition. He would walk up to somebody and he'd say, knock on your car window and do you have $1? Or stand outside the Dollar General. Do you have $1? Stand out CVS. Wherever he would stand, and he'd ask people for $1. Okay? Now, if he left the area, now everybody knows Zachary. A lot of people know Zachary, that he's done that. Okay? If he left the area and he went to another area, and he's standing in a little borough, and he's standing at their Dollar General, and he walks up to some lady with a little kid and says, can I have $1? And he's talking a little different, and she's really panicked. Don't you think she's going to turn around and go in there and call the police and say, there's some guy out here, doing this to me. I'm afraid. He would have drawn attention to himself. They would have ran his name, because they would have said to him, well, what's your name? He would have gave his name, and he would have came up in the system as an endangered missing person in America.
True.
Very true.
Cindy, I could tell you go through every scenario like we do in your head, because it doesn't make sense. If he was doing that, no, it doesn't make
stop
sense.
there.
You know your boy, and no.
It doesn't stop there. It's like when you have the condition that Zachary has, okay? he's a creature of habit. So he's going to do the same thing. You're going to get up in the morning, you're going to turn your coffee pot on, you're going to read your newspaper. Zachary's going to get up in the morning, he's going to do the same thing. That was his job to him, and he's going to go have coffee here, or go see George Jones down the street, whatever he did. He was routine, he did those things. So why would it all of a sudden stop? Why? What else? Because something's wrong. Something's wrong. If he did that in another town,
so somebody had I don't know. If my nephew left with somebody, okay, he left the area and he went with somebody, that somebody would have to be making him all his meals. They would have to be giving him money. They would have to be giving him cigarettes. They would literally have to be taking care of him. Because if with his condition, and sometimes if his condition was off, he's not going to get no job at no Taco Bell. No, and he's not taking his medication, all that. So, yeah, right. So dealing with Zachary, when Zachary had those moments, you're not talking about somebody that's 27 years old in their mind. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To me,
he was dependent on. He has to be dependent on somebody.
Right.
For a lot
to
of things.
me, he's a boy. When he first went missing, it was the most terrifying thing. Like, you lost your kid in the mall and you can't find them. So to me, Zachary's not 27 years old and 28 now. In his mind, he's a boy.
Right.
He's a boy that would want to come home and be around his family. And Zachary's the type of kid too that he non-confrontational. He would not start a fight. He would never walk up to somebody and say, "You want to go?" or "Look at that person," or "Look at that," and Zach's not like that. He is not like
Jesse.
that.
Yeah.
And this is what scares me, because was he in that moment of not understanding things around him, or in total reality, and did he, people that I were with, or take it the wrong way and something happened? I all this runs through my mind. You always think somebody took advantage of that poor soul, and there's something happened, something's not right. Right, because he with his condition, he gets paranoid. Oh. So he could think that somebody was chasing him, or but he liked people. He always thought people were good. But when he was in that moment, he was afraid, and he wanted to be at home, and he'd be in the house. And then, we'd take him to the doctor and things like that after that, But I wonder you would think that he was yelling for you. Yeah. Well, see, that's what scares me. Yeah, that would kill me. So it bothers me. Like, no, like if somebody was coming at him, or "What are you doing? Don't do that." I can't. The thoughts of that just. And how can you not go in there? You think everything. I feel, Bernie, come on, I feel James is a strong person. If he wasn't going down that fight, they had to get him on the blind. Well, Zach boy, he was tough, and Zachary was big and tough, man. Listen. Mm-hmm. You gotta fight for yourself. No matter what, you're human. You're gonna fight for yourself, and you're gonna fight for your life. But unless they're blindsided, that's the only way they could have did it. Right. There was more than one. If there's more than one, Mm-hmm. It's scary. It really, really is scary. I just and then people tell you, "Well, don't think that way." Well, how can you not? It is very scary.
That's one thing I always thought of.
Somebody might be following me or something. You know what I mean? It's hard.
Yeah.
What's that, Rachel?
I always wondered if in all these cases, if they were lured, for whatever reason, like, I don't know, it could be anything. If they were lured, even, James being a bigger guy that could handle himself.
100%. Yeah.
But you can't handle yourself against 10 people on one, which is things that I've heard that happen around here, and that scares me too, and it's very upsetting too.
Well, I heard a couple of people told me that my son looked like he was in a state of shock too. Because my son,
He saw something.
like he saw something that he shouldn't have,
And they did lure him.
and he wasn't. Yeah, and they lured him up there
Yep, that's what they
and
said.
took advantage of him. You know what I mean? When they got him up on the mountain.
Yeah, because up there you could do you know what I mean. What are they going to do up there besides make a phone call if they have a phone? You know, they could do anything up there. You ain't going to hear people yelling for you unless there's other people up there. And it's scary because I don't know. To me, all those people that do stuff like that, that's total cowardice. Like,
I
to do
still
that
have
to
the
some-
cadaver
to
dog.
somebody.
The cadaver dog didn't send him, that he walked up that mountain and they lured him. Somebody saw him walking, and just like Cindy said, you know, they're walking around, or somebody said that, you know, they're targeting people walking at night in the dark time. Maybe Rose said that.
And you know, the one thing that puzzles me too is they're if you look at these missing person cases, I mean the ones that I know of, they're all males.
yeah, similar appearance.
Strong males. Yeah, it's so bizarre.
It kind of
I mean,
reminds
I don't
me
know
of
if anybody
Eileen
else
Wuornos.
noticed that, but I don't know of any females. I mean, that I'm aware of, but
I don't know of any either.
Well, they traffic people. Like, you know, I'm not saying they took them for, like, you know, the sex trafficking, but they traffic people for different reasons. And, like, you think of everything. You do every scenario.
sure you do. Look at them all; they're all nice looking kids.
Yeah.
They are.
I already thought of that. I almost didn't even want to say that because I thought, you know, I said aliens, you know, you think of aliens like before, but I actually said that. Like, what if?
Something weird.
What if?
Something definitely happening.
You know, I always heard about the females being trafficked.
It's almost just like they got
But I
beamed
never heard
right
about
off
the
the
males. Yeah.
It's
Like
like such
they
a
were
small
being
world.
off
It's such
the
a small world, and so you're looking for your missing loved one. You know,
And it's scary too because you're walking up to strange people and you're asking them questions, and you're so afraid because I mean some of them look right through to your soul. They're scary.
Yeah, they are. I'll tell you what, I go to places that I should not go. And I know that.
Yeah.
And if I hear something, I'm going to go check it out. And I'll do it by myself. I don't tell nobody. I do what I do.
And then you come along boxes or like an item, something laying there like a box or a barrel or something, and you're looking at each other like, well, somebody's got to open this. You know, this is the things that you're standing there doing, and it's like you have to take that deep breath. You have to put yourself in this. You prepare yourself before you go out there because you're searching.
you know how many pieces of cloth are out there in that mountain? How many pieces of cloth? Oh my gosh, read everything. Oh, this piece of cloth.
And beer cans and you see toothbrushes and, you know, all from the homeless people. And you don't even realize how big Pottsville actually is. It just doesn't care if you're born and raised there. It's ginormous. You didn't realize how big it was until you're out there searching in it.
My son was trapped in
I looked for him in the tracks a lot. So between KFC and Port Carbon, you know, there's a lot of homeless under there.
Right.
Believe me, I walked
They
right up
travel.
to them too. Did they see this kid?
Yeah, they travel too. You know, they go from different areas, and that's what scares me. That he get.
I hung the flyers. Yep. I hung our flyers underneath the bridges there, underneath the Pally Bridge where they live. Yeah, I thought if anything I could help.
I just wish that, you know, we would get some closure, that somebody really would step up to the plate that holds the key, you know, to all of our questions, and just do the right thing. I mean, I could not sit back if I knew something. I just couldn't watch a family sit there in agony, you know, wondering, worrying nonstop where your loved one is. Like I said before, and I'll keep using the same word, torture. There's no other way.
Somebody out there knows. Some coward out there knows what happened. A coward. They're cowards.
You know,
They're weak cowards.
Call. It's like calling. I don't get a burner phone or something. I don't. If you're afraid you're going to be traced or all that. That's all remains anonymous with the police.
I fear we all have the truth. And it's not.
They can't prove it. Yeah,
Right.
it's somebody always holds the key, and like I said, with all those rumors, sometimes they're not all rumors. There's truth in that.
Rich was on the phone with them. I think
That's why
this is so.
like you have to. Yeah,
I don't know if you all remember that video that was released in the Catch a Predator. That guy that does that on.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, do you remember that gentleman that mentioned my nephew's name in that video? Now, come on. And he said people are after him, and you know, he was saying, the woman in the video, one of his relatives, I guess it was saying that there was drones in the air and there was helicopters in the air. No, there wasn't, looking for Zachary.
That video is still available.
I don't know what airport. I would like to know what company or whatever that was out, because I didn't see nothing. It's like, where do you come up with this stuff?
They didn't have helicopters or anything for Zachary?
Not to my knowledge. I'm not saying they didn't, but I didn't. Maybe they did. I don't know. To my knowledge, I didn't hear anything like that. Because maybe they did. I'm going to have to speak to detective on that again. But I think if somebody were to come to him and say, okay, here's an exact location that I 110% saw Zachary at, well, then maybe they would have done that. But you're not
true.
Right. So I don't know. So I'm not going to answer for them on that, because I probably would say no, but maybe they did. I don't know.
I don't think they have manpower to take every lead like that. Truthfully, like, you know, the police force is down, and I get it with all that. They're looking for the same thing, probably concrete, you know.
Right, because like I said, if somebody said, you know, okay, it was here down by the railroad track, and this is definitely this and that, and then they're going to go check it out, you know, because they're going to. That could be where he is, but it has been done. People have said things.
Sometimes people don't realize the definite is we need him, the body. We need them. We need something.
Right. Right. And never, you know, like I said, with Detective Welsh, you know, he has done things to find Zachary. You know, he's done those searches. And I'm grateful for it. I mean, even I would cry. I'm like, oh my gosh, can you know, check here? He said, Cindy, we did, but you know, they go, he gets punished, whatever, and they do it again, and they've done it again.
Awesome.
So you know, me personally, I'm not speaking for others, because this is just me personally saying, I haven't had any problems with the police. So if people were to come on the Zachary Vidal search group and start bashing the Pottsville Police Department, well, I'm not going to have that.
No, I don't blame you.
That's not what.
It hinders things. There's no good in that.
No, there isn't. I mean, it's not their fault. You know, they can only work on what is given to them. So every call that comes in, they check up on. You know, they follow up with all this stuff. You know, it's their job. They do it.
And I think it's better than Bernie giving out her phone number. If they have a police officer to call, and they can do it anonymously and everything. And, you know, with Bernie's phone number out there before, she was getting wild things.
Oh, I can imagine.
And her names were all over the flyers everywhere. And, you know, in plain sight, that probably wasn't good to do to the mother.
No.
She couldn't, you know, even process information.
But it's just, you know, it's like how long is this going to continue? Like, how long could someone just hold that in and if they know something? It's like,
Rachel, how are your children? How are your children, Rachel?
They're okay. They're doing good. They're actually very strong. I'm very proud of them. my daughter was only 1 when he went missing, so, and she was, I mean, both my kids were very close to Jesse, but, like, she knows who he is, and she knows he's missing, but because she was so young when it happened, she lost, like, you know, she don't remember when he was actually here, so she does have a lot of questions and stuff like that. My son was 5 when he went missing, and he's doing a lot. He's doing really good, but there's times where it gets to him. When he was really young, it was very hard for him because, like I said, I mean, when they're that little, they expect an answer, and they don't understand that there is no answer to this. But in their mind, they don't understand that, and he's done a lot better too. I mean, they still have their hard times.
These children too.
I know, like, if you can't do it for any other reason, the most important are these kids. You know what I mean? They deserve the answers more than anybody, because this is going to affect them their whole lives.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I mean, that's the one thing I really worry about, is because my kids are still young, but I mean, there's so much stuff on the internet that I've read about Jesse. I've read horrible things about me and stuff like that. I don't want my kids to see that. And I don't want their whole outlook on life to be, this happened to my dad and nobody cared, or that nobody helped figure it out, or the police didn't do enough, and them then have like this negative outlook because they
we all have that from somebody. Isn't that a shame? That's a shame.
And you don't want them to grow up and have children of their own someday and have to show their children a photo. This is your grandfather and he's missing it and it was never found. No, that's ridiculous. And that's sad. That's heartbreaking for any family to have to go through this. I feel so bad because as we sit here now, all talking together, there's another face going up on Facebook. Mm-hmm. And it's just something that it's just, I don't even have words.
The judgment day is coming. The judgment day will come. The person's judgment day will come.
Yeah.
I was going to say something, but I'm not.
Their judgment day is coming.
I believe things will come to light at some point. You know, somebody will make a mistake, or like I said, like certain things I'm looking into. If I can get police to do that, and they find, you know, there's always a way. You just got to find it, and it's.
I love this group. What I love about this group, somebody's always has something going on. I just want everybody to know out there who's listening is going to know we always have something going on. So we're going to investigate. We're going to find it. We'll find out.
Yeah. Well, I thank you for having me on here.
I thank you.
Absolutely. Yes, I'm glad you guys were able to come on. And as I said before, I think this is entirely, you know, brave and courageous of all four of you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions for us, Anthony or Rose? Or
I'm trying to think of any more questions.
We just hope that what we're doing here can either shed some light or give you guys something, a possible lead, a hint, something that can point you in a direction that will take you to the next step. And that's
thank you.
I mean, we're hopeful. We have children of our own, and we would never want this for ourselves. And you guys our hearts go out to you, and you guys are tremendously brave, because I don't know if I'd be able to do the same.
Oh, this is 4 strong women right here, and we have an army behind us all too.
You guys are just, I don't know a single person stronger than y'all.
Thank you, and I can't thank you both enough for being their voices, because we were able to talk about the boys, and thanks to you, you know, their stories are being told and they're not forgotten. That means a lot. That's like handing me $1 million right now, to be able to talk on here and know that you're thinking of them and trying to be their voice to bring them home to us. And thank you from the whole entire Vidal family.
before this group, there was nobody out there that was going through this. That we were going through the same thing, and there's Rachel, and now here's Cindy, and not that we want them to go through that, but it's they understand. Somebody understands how it is.
Yeah, that's actually helpful. I mean, under these circumstances that we've all met, I'm great, but now that we have each other, it's easier to talk to somebody that actually truly understands, and I'm grateful for everybody that
you can't get mad at when they tell you to pick your butt up and get moving. You know? Pick it up, woman, and get moving. I don't want to hear it today. You're stronger than that.
Yeah.
Represent strong for them. We got you, boys.
Yeah.
You can definitely tell you guys have that camaraderie between y'all. Even before we were recording, you guys just listening to you guys just conversate and talk. You guys, you can really tell you guys came very close through this series of tragedies.
Right. We did. It's a proof right now, and it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think Bernie, and at one point in time, it's like, where do you go from here? And here comes Rachel and Cindy, and they doing like these things. But yes, we'll participate. Of course, yes.
And I feel really bad too, and I could tell when I first started the post for Zachary that it was really bringing up an awful lot for Rachel and James's family. I could see it, and it's just like it all just started all to come back out and back out and back out. But you know what? Now all three boys are circulating again, and we're in people's heads, so they know that this is not being left go. These boys will not be forgotten.
No.
Yeah, we're going to do everything we can to get things going as far as hopefully, whatever it may be, like we talked about, the thing about the Amber Alert, if we can get stuff like that and other things going, we hope to prevent it from happening to another famally.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe somebody will pick up in this podcast and say, like, wait a minute, this is strange. All these, in the, vicinity missing. We're going to have to investigate this. Maybe we'll get, somebody who could pick up the case out there or something. Who knows what could happen?
You never know.
Right.
We just keep talking about
I
it.
just wish that there was somebody that, like a private investigator that would want to do this. I mean, obviously people don't like to do things for free, but there's always somebody out there that these cases would interest them, and they could become famous from this.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yes, I agree with that. Yes.
And I just wish that somebody would reach out to us, and I was mentioned that through another group, do you want to go on the list? Well, you know how many people are on that list of private investigators, which I was thankful for it, but I didn't get a phone call, and I really honestly didn't expect one because there's so many missing people.
Right.
And there's so many people praying for that phone call.
Right.
But maybe there just is stranger things have happened. We don't know.
And and I don't know if you ladies, you have that 1 ounce of hope.
Absolutely.
There's just always
That's why I brought that up. If they are, all three are alive out there and someone's listening and they know they're alive in their town, let us know. We'll take it from there.
Yep, we'll take it from there. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you again for having me on.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Anthony,
Thank you guys for coming on.
We appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Very welcome.
I'll let you know as soon as this episode is out.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Don't forget the
awareness
other
is wonderful. It's the best tool for missing people. So we appreciate all this.
Of course.
Absolutely.
I'm just glad that we are able to be in a position where we can help like this.
Yes, thank you. Thank all
Thank
of
you for
you.
listening to us for almost 3 hours.
As I told you, this is y'all's time to do what you want with it.
He's probably like, I can't talk to another woman in a couple months. No.
Oh, you guys are perfectly fine.
Okay.
I was hoping we didn't ramble too much, and you'll have to edit Bernie's foul language, but
Oh,
Yeah,
the
we
worst
call
has been
them
said
people
on here. Don't
nitwits.
worry.
That wasn't Cindy saying it. That was really Bernadette calling people nitwits.
If we talked like we really wanted to talk, we wouldn't even be able to air it.
You corrupted me, Bernadette.
You corrupted her. Oh my God.
All right, thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Rose. Thank you, Billy.
All right, have a good night. Thank you for being on.
Okay, have a great night. Thank
You
you.
too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Are we done? God, I was gonna say happy holidays. God damn it! You gonna call Billy? Hey, you wanna talk for another 3 hours? Oh shit.
I would like to once again thank our guests for coming on today. I find their stories and everything about them be incredibly brave and strong. As I said in the intro, please, if you know something, say something. There's tons of places to go provide information, as we mentioned in this episode. If you do not catch information, we have it written down. We have it saved. You can contact us. If by chance you're worried that you'll get in trouble for anything, we can keep it anonymous. And if you're in a similar situation right now and you would like to share a story or try and highlight somebody who's missing or just going through a rough time, send us a message. You are more than welcome to come on and have these conversations with us, or send something anonymous that you would like to be shared. We hope the best for everyone, and we hope that these poor women can find a resolution to what happened. Thank you again for all listening.